I think it's about dang time we talked about Santi Gimenez to AC Milan. Now, where does this move rank in the hype meter of Mexican transfers all time? Y'all let me know down below. It's gotta be top 5. And I can't lie, Mexico is kind of cooking in this transfer window. And those were words I thought I was gonna die without ever saying again. We are up tremendous. AC Milan announced Santi yesterday on all their social media. He's gonna be coming in wearing the number 7, and he will be replacing Alvaro Morata, who was sold to Galatasaray. And just think about that for a second. Not only did AC Milan spend 35 M's for my boy during the January window, which is even more impressive, but the guy that he was going to potentially be fighting with for minutes was sold immediately, not during the summer transfer window, right effing now. So I think that partnered with what we've heard from Zlatan Ibrahimovic personally vouching for Santi Gimenez makes this one of the bigger statements of trust that a club has shown a Mexican player in a long time. And I gotta be honest, given our track record recently, I don't really blame them. But this is a big deal. I'm gonna be breaking down and analyzing this move from the 4 parties involved: Feyenoord, AC Milan, Santi Gimenez, and of course the Mexican national team. But before I do, if you like videos about the Mexican national team in English, make sure you hit subscribe. Got 100 videos on the channel, always covering Mexico. That's my national team, so stick around. So let's start with Feyenoord. Does this move make sense? The answer is yes, but I think the timing is a little rough. Losing a striker who scored 65 goals in 100 games during January on the last day of the window is a bit rough, bro. Now, I don't think it's all doom and gloom for Feyenoord, right? Like, they're not getting relegated in the Eredivisie. They still have Japanese international Ayase Ueda, who will now be the starting 9, and I think he's a more than feasible option. Better long hair currently, me or Ueda? Let me know down below in the comments. Ueda himself has actually been on quite good form the last 2 months, so I think he's going to be able to at least copy some of the production that Santi was giving the club. Now, the question for Feyenoord will be, could they have gotten more money for Santi? Or in a parallel universe that's dark and full of sadness, how bad was AC Milan fleeced by Feyenoord? Now, we're only going to know the answers to that question in a couple years, but I remember back in the summer, we were seeing quotes for 50, 60, 80 million for Santi. Now, those were always ridiculous. He's not even worth close to that much money. They probably could have eked out 40, 42 mil, something like that, but I don't think there's too much room to complain on the financial front. At least not yet. Now, for AC Milan, does this move make sense? 110%. This is a goddamn layup. AC Milan were really struggling at the striker position. I mentioned it earlier that Morata was the starting 9, and he's an overhated guy. Trust me, I'm an Atleti fan, I know. He's got some good qualities. He's going to give you some good matches, score some big goals, but I don't think his strengths suited what AC Milan are trying to do. Tammy Abraham is also on the roster, and that guy's been cooked for like 3 years. And I was a pretty big Tammy fan back in the day. I did not see that downfall coming. I'm going to compare the 3 strikers very quickly. I will throw a graphic on the screen. Tammy Abraham this year in Serie A, 2 goals from 21 shot attempts. Santi Gimenez for Feyenoord, 7 goals in 28. And Morata for AC Milan, 5 goals in 28. So that conversion rate for Tammy Abraham is pretty freaking low. And fun fact, he's actually one of the most underperforming strikers in Serie A when you talk about goals versus expected goals. He's missing some sitters, and Santi Gimenez is pretty good at putting those away. Even Morata's numbers, which sound okay with 5 goals, he has 2 less than Santi Gimenez in 400 more minutes this season. So the moral of the story is AC Milan had to do something. Now that they're bringing in Santi, there's going to be a lot more space. The team is going to be able to play faster. He's a stronger finisher than any other 9 they had on the roster. Now, financially, I think 35 million is a sizable investment, but I don't think it's enough to absolutely crush the soul of a player. Like, I'll be honest, if Santi was bought for 65, 70, I would be sweating, like sauna level sweating, because that's when the money starts creeping in your mind, and psychologically it either makes or breaks you. I don't think 35 mil is going to be keeping Santi up at night. He's not going to be booking a private therapy call just to, talk about how much money he's worth. So overall for Milan, I think it's a phenomenal buy, at least on paper. Now for Santi Gimenez, the player, does this move make sense? Yes, it does. Absolutely. At just 23 years old, Santi Gimenez is already at one of the biggest clubs in the world. That alone is a massive W. And not only is he at one of the biggest clubs in the world, this is not a Tajon Buchanan, sorry to all my Canadians, situation here where he's being brought in for a minimum investment to be some role player. Dude, you're being bought to be the face of Milan. It's him, Leao, and Theo Hernandez. Like, this is an honor. And Santi's overall career progression has been nothing short of insane. Now, current AC Milan are underperforming to their own standards. They currently sit 8th in the Serie A table, but the potential for this team is huge, and Santi Gimenez has never played with this much talent. Guys like Rafael Leao, Pulisic, Reinders, Theo Hernandez, Kyle Walker coming in. I mean, it's peak right now. Now, I have to be clear. Personally, I am expecting Santi to struggle. We just need to give my guy 10, 12 games to adjust, because the difference in defensive quality from the Eredivisie to Serie A is like going from high school to D1 basketball. I don't care that you average 30 points for some bum D4 team in the middle of Louisiana. Every single game now, the opposition point guard is 6'4". Santi is not going to get anything for free anymore. He is not going to be able to stat pad against Milk Chocolate FC or whoever else he was playing on the weekend. And as a player, Santi is going to need to improve a lot. Now, the shooting, I'm not worried about, but the passing, the hold-up play, the decision-making, all needs to get better. So for his development to be in AC Milan, it's amazing. I mean, this is the exact move that you would want your character to make in a FIFA My Career. And at AC Milan, under this spotlight, he's either going to get better or he's going to fail. Now, I'm backing my guy to succeed, but this is not going to be a walk in the park. And lastly, for the Mexican national team, does this make sense, or is this a good thing? Is it a net positive? 100% it is. Namely because of what I just spoke about, Santi Gimenez has holes in his game. And where he was playing at Feyenoord in the Eredivisie, the play style of that team, the power level of that team compared to the rest of the league, the quality of the defense and the goalkeeping in that league, there wasn't really much more room for him to grow. No doubt he has improved from his Cruz Azul days, but that's because he had to go to the Eredivisie and acclimate. And he has done that. 65 goals in 100 games. But now it's time to improve the other parts of being a striker. Because right now, I honestly don't think that Santi is a more complete forward than Raul Jimenez. Now, that doesn't mean Santi sucks. It just means, hey, you got to get better with your feet. You got to get better passing. But I think the most important thing from the Mexican national team perspective is the increased exposure that's going to come from having the star player at AC Milan. I don't know what like the global fan base numbers are for all football teams in the world, but they have to be, what, top 7? And again, he's being brought in to be one of the faces, not some dude standing in the background. I mean, truly, what a move for Mexican football. Like, we can use Christian Pulisic as an example, his now teammate, which is hilarious. Look at how much more interest there is in Serie A because of an American star player going there, being a starter, and balling out. It's good for the league, it's good for CONCACAF, it's good for the United States, and on paper, it's now good for Mexico as well. I believe Santi Gimenez is becoming the 9th Mexican to play in Serie A, but fact check me down below in the comments, and the 2nd ever at AC Milan. Our last player was Pedro Pineda in 1991. Mexico really needs this move right now, and we really need Santi to perform because there's not a ton of massive money success stories, at least recently. And I think if he performs well, that opens the door. That opens the door for more clubs to look at the Mexican market, as overvalued as it is, and say, hey, we can afford to take a risk on this guy. You know, similar thing to players like Chino Huerta. I know it was a Belgian league move and for less money, but we need him to win. If Johan Vazquez moves on to Juventus or some other big club, we need him to win. It's not all about age. It's not all about transfer money. Sometimes it's just about volume. It's just about repetition. How many dubs do we have on the schedule? And right now, there's not a ton, although there's the potential to have many, many more in the recent future, and that's why I'm so excited about this move. I mean, just being able to watch Santi in this team with these players in this league, I mean, come on, bro. What more can we ask? I honestly can't think of a better landing spot that I could have drawn up for Santi Gimenez in my head. Like, he almost went to Nottingham Forest. I know Nottingham Forest are balling out. Their fans hate me for saying that he shouldn't go there. He ain't Chris Wood, bro. I don't think that he would have been the same figure, you know, that Chris Wood is for the Prem. He wouldn't be on 17 goals, right? Because that's not the profile of player. AC Milan need the profile of 9 that is Santi Gimenez. And that's why I just think this is a dub for all parties involved, including Feyenoord. The man came to your club, was there for 2 years, and won you 3 trophies. He won you the league again. And I can't remember what they bought Santi for? Was it like 7 million, 10 million, something like that? So at minimum, you've 3x your investment and you've gotten 3 trophies. I know it sucks to see legends go. It always pains me personally as well, but I mean, the guy was a success. And now we just got to hope that he's a success at AC Milan too. That's the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think of Santi's move to AC Milan in the comments. Follow me on social media. Also, links in the description of this video. And a final reminder to hit subscribe so you do not miss any future videos covering the Mexican national team here on Deadball TV. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.